Phoibos has made some seriously good dive watches. We all know that. But is the Phoibos Kraken their new high water mark? Stay with me because we are going to find out. Hey, there you are, and welcome to My Dude Watch. My name is Jason, and today we are looking at one of the most capable dive watches out there. We are getting comprehensive today, and you do not want to miss it. This is going to be fun. You know the deal. Grab a snack, pull up a chair, and let's talk watches. I want to take just a moment to say thank you to Phoibos for sending over their Phoibos Kraken. They asked for a complete and thorough review, and that's exactly what we'll give them. Now, you guys know how this works. The opinions you hear from me today on this watch are all mine and mine alone. Hey, real quick, guys, My Dude Watch has merch. You won't find this at Neiman's Marcus. Apparently, they don't have a Dapper Dude section. So if you're interested, smash that link in the description and check it out. Now, back to the watch. Okay, we are ready to roll, and we'll start right here, as we always do, with the tail of the tape. The Kraken measures in at 40 millimeters in case diameter, 47.5 millimeters lug to lug, and a thickness of 11.5 millimeters, which does not include the crystal. There is 316L stainless steel everywhere. I'm talking about the case back, crown, and bracelet. And in all its glory, the Kraken weighs in at 175 grams. This diver runs on Miyota power. This is the 90-15 automatic movement, and it carries a very capable 200 meters of water resistance. The listed MSRP is currently $499, and that's before a discount that we'll give you a little bit later. Now, those are Phoibos numbers. Now let's get into the watch itself, and I want to start with the case and overall build quality, because this is where the Kraken starts making a pretty strong first impression. At 40 millimeters, the proportions are right in that sweet spot for a modern dive watch. It has enough presence to feel substantial, but it never comes across as oversized or bulky. The finishing is very well executed. You've got clean brushing across the case, polished accents where they make sense, and the transitions between the two are crisp. There is absolutely nothing here that feels cheap. Nothing feels unfinished. And that's important because at $499, Phoibos is no longer playing in the bargain basement end of the pool. At this price, the details have to be right. And so far they are. The case feels solid, the machining is clean, and there is a real sense that Phoibos wanted the Kraken to feel like a serious piece of equipment rather than just another good-looking dive watch. And I think they accomplished that. Moving up top, let's talk about the bezel and the crystal, and I gotta tell you, I love the clicks of this bezel. The action is crisp, positive, and controlled, with no backplay. It's one of those bezels that just feels satisfying every time you turn it. Underneath it, Phoibos gives us sapphire crystal, and the clarity here is excellent. The dial stays easy to read, reflections are kept under control, and it gives the watch that clean, premium look you want at this price. Neither one of these features are real flashy on its own, but together they reinforce what the Kraken keeps doing well. The fundamentals are just really, really well executed. Now let's get into the dial and handset, because this is where the Kraken really starts showing some personality. The first thing that grabs you is the dial surface itself. There's real texture and depth here. And depending on how the light hits it, the dial can change characters pretty dramatically. And that gives the Kraken a little more visual interest than your typical flat dive watch dial without sacrificing legibility. The layout is bold, highly legible, and very much in keeping with what we want from a serious dive watch. The hour markers are easy to pick up at a glance. The hands are distinctive without getting overly complicated, and everything feels balanced across the board. And there is a lot going on here, but it never feels cluttered. And that matters because a dive watch can have all the specs in the world, but if the dial doesn't look right, the whole package falls apart. And right here, it works. Now let's flip the watch again and talk about the crown and case back. The screw down crown is signed, threads in cleanly, and I gotta give Phoibos some credit here. This is one of the easiest crowns to grip and operate that I've worked with in a very long time. There's plenty of good things going on here. Winding and setting the watch is effortless, and it's one of those small details you may not appreciate until you've handled a lot of watches that really don't cooperate like this. And then around back, Phoibos gives us something a little more interesting than the typical plain dive watch caseback. There's some really nice engraving work here. And I like that they took the time to give this back of the Kraken some personality as well. It's detailed, it fits the overall theme of the watch, and even though this is the side of the watch that spends most of its life against your wrist, it still feels finished. And of course, under all of that, we still have a substantial stainless steel screw-down case back, helping the Kraken deliver that 200 meters of water resistance. So between the crown, the engraving, and the overall execution back here, Phoibos got it right. Now, I want to spend a couple minutes here on the bracelet and clasp because this is another area where the Kraken feels very well sorted. Because this is not your typical 3-link setup. Phoibos went with this almost scale-like design, and honestly, it fits the Kraken theme perfectly. It has this reptilian, almost sea creature look to it, and the links flow together in a way that gives this watch a completely different personality. This bracelet has a solid, substantial feel without turning the watch into a brick on your wrist. The links articulate well, everything feels nicely finished, and there's none of that cheap, rattly character you sometimes get with a bracelet. They did not cut corners here. This clasp is secure, it operates cleanly, and matches the rest of the watch in terms of overall quality. What I really like here is the bracelet feels like it belongs on this watch. It doesn't feel like Phoibos designed the Kraken and then went shopping for something to attach to it later. It feels integrated, purposeful, and built to handle the same kind of use as the rest of the watch. That may not sound exciting to you, but on a dive watch, a really good bracelet can make the difference between a watch you admire and a watch you actually want to wear. On the wrist, the Kraken wears very nicely at 40 millimeters. It has plenty of presence, but the real story is the shape of the case. The lugs turn down on the wrist, and that helps the bracelet slope naturally away from the case instead of sticking straight out. The result is a watch that really settles in on the wrist nicely. Even with a substantial build and the 175-gram weight, it doesn't feel awkward or top-heavy. And Phoibos helps with the comfort even more with an on-the-fly quick-adjust system so you can fine-tune the fit during the day without grabbing a tool. You also get quick-release spring bars, which makes swapping the bracelet as easy as it can possibly be. So overall, the Kraken feels planted, balanced, and honestly, very comfortable for a serious dive watch. Now let's talk about what's powering the Kraken. Phoibos went with the Miyota 9015, and that's a movement I'm really happy to see at this level. You're getting a high-beat automatic movement running at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's got hacking, hand-winding, and a reputation for being reliable and accurate. But you guys know the drill. We don't just read movement specs here. We put it on a timegrapher and see what this particular watch is actually doing. And the Kraken came back with +4 seconds per day with an amplitude of 312 and a beat error of just 0.1 milliseconds. Those are excellent numbers. So from a movement performance standpoint, this particular Kraken is running extremely well. And then we get the lume, and this is where the Kraken is absolutely flexing its quality. It comes alive immediately, bright, clean, and very easy to read. The hands and markers are clearly defined, and the application looks even. And I really like the contrast you get from the different lume colors. But brightness right out of the gate is only part of the story. I let it sit and it holds that glow very well. For a serious dive watch, this is exactly what you want to see. The Kraken has checked a lot of boxes so far, and this lume just checked another one. So who is this watch for? I think the Kraken is for a guy who wants a serious dive watch, but doesn't want something that feels generic. You want strong specs, you really want good wrist presence, you want a watch that feels substantial and capable, but you also want some personality. This dial has it, the bracelet definitely has it, even the case back has it. And if you're someone who appreciates the little things, the easy to grip crown, the on-the-fly adjustment, the quick release spring bars, the strong lume, the clean bezel action, this watch starts making a lot of sense. So where does all of this leave the Phoibos Kraken? To me, this watch does everything you want a seriously good dive watch to do. The build quality is strong, the bezel action is excellent, the dial has real personality, the bracelet is distinctive, the crown is one of the easiest I've used in a long time, the lume performs, the Miyota 9015 is running beautifully, and most importantly, nothing here feels like it was overlooked. Well, there you go, the powerhouse that is the Phoibos Kraken. If you want to know more, we put links in the description. Go there, check it out, see if it's right for you. Just remember, if you decide to make a purchase, My Dude Watch may get a small commission. You don't pay more. Hey, you made it to the end of another video. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please take the time to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It'll only take you a second, but it really does help. All right, guys, we have checked the time and it is time to wrap this up, so we will close the show. My name is Jason with My Dude Watch. We'll do it all again next time, but wait, don't forget, dudes can't be late.